A very warm welcome to this edition of Hong Kong Direct, where we're going to be catching up with one of the star talents of Hong Kong racing, while we'll also be catching you up with what's happened on the track here over the last week. But specifically, this is what's coming up on Hong Kong Direct today. We've got a special interview with Chad Schofield, who's fast approaching his 200th winner. He started on Sunday, winning on Fantastic Treasure. But the day belonged to Butterfield last Sunday, taking out the Group 3 Queen Mother Memorial Cup. We'll review what happened in that big Group 3 contest. We're also going to give you the latest on the Derby winner Sky Darci, who was out on the track on Tuesday at Sha Tin. But we're going to start the show by catching up with Chad Schofield. He's fast approaching his 200th winner as a Hong Kong-based jockey. Chad comes from a famous racing family, but these days he's blazing his own trail here in Hong Kong. Chad, let's go back to the beginning. I think going through your family as far as your great-grandfather, he was a jockey, so was there anything else you were going to do in life?
No, not really. Always wanted to be a jockey from ever since I could remember. Obviously with Dad being a jockey in South Africa, I was going to the track work from very early on, and it was always something I wanted to do. There's photos of me on the arm of the couch, whipping it away as Dad was riding in races as a very small kid. So it was always going to be what I did with my life, and yeah, very happy it turned out the way it has.
Now, this isn't the first time you've lived in Hong Kong. You lived here when your father, Glenn, rode here for 4 years. Did that further inspire you to go down the path of being a jockey?
No, but it inspired me to be a jockey in Hong Kong. I went to school here while Dad rode here. I did 4 years of schooling from the age of, I think, 9, 10, 11, 12, or somewhere thereabouts. And yeah, I mean, Hong Kong was always a place that was pretty high on my target list when I started my apprenticeship. And thankfully it came quite early, or really early in my career. I think I moved here when I was 21.
Did that come up a bit earlier than you expected?
It did, yeah. I remember I came on a 3-month contract, and when I got approached by the club, a lot of people I was close to said I perhaps wasn't quite ready and I should wait a few more years before I came and gave Hong Kong a crack. But I jumped at the opportunity and I hit the ground running. I think I rode a winner my first meeting and my first Happy Valley meeting. And that 3-month stint's now turned into 6 seasons.
Strathmore charged to the lead from Jet Wings. My Little Friend runs on late, but it's Strathmore coming away. Strathmore goes on for a very solid win. And Chad Schofield is on the board here in Hong Kong.
Now, you've seen in that time a lot of jockeys come and go here in Hong Kong, but you've stuck it out. What's made it work for you here?
Well, I think you have to be really resilient. It's a place that it's very hard to get good opportunities. And it's a place with a lot of letdowns, so you really have to roll with the punches. And a lot of jockeys who come here, obviously at the top of wherever they've come from, and they can't quite cope with all the disappointments. But yeah, you have to be resilient and keep working hard and not retract into a shell, because when that happens, you really get left behind.
So how have you coped with the disappointments, but also with the high times too?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously, when things are going well in Hong Kong, it's the best place in the world. It's very rewarding, and the racing here, it gives such a thrill. It's because of the competitiveness here, it's such a thrill to ride a winner, and it's really a great feeling when it comes off.
So as you say, you've been here for now 6 seasons. We're talking to you at a time where you're very close to your 200th winner as a Hong Kong jockey. What have been the highlights for you?
I think winning the Classic Cup on Singapore Sling it's certainly the biggest race I've won in Hong Kong.
Singapore Sling, he wants vengeance for defeat in the Classic Mile. Race to a narrow lead from the Golden Age. Then Exultant, Nothing I Like More can't win, but Singapore Sling careering away with the Classic Cup.
I've won some other nice races, a lot of good wins on a horse called Rattan. I won the Queen Mother on Ambitious Champion. Supreme Prophet won a nice race for me. A horse called NASA was a big thrill.
NASA's charging home late. Time Warp in front. NASA with a massive launch. NASA right over the top of Time Warp to win the ladies' purse.
He was a horse I was really excited about, but unfortunately we never saw the best of him. But yeah, there's been a lot of highlights, and hopefully it's only just the beginning.
When you ride here in Hong Kong on a regular basis, you're up against Joe Moreira and Zach Purton, who everyone talks about when they talk about the jockeys here, but you've also got the likes of Ryan Moore coming in for short-term stints. Has that helped you to develop as a jockey over the last 5-6 years here?
I definitely think so. You know, you're riding with these guys week in, week out, and they're very good. And not only them, even, you know, all the other boys in the jockey room, you know, Derek Leung, Vincent Ho, Karras, Alexi Bedell, Tony Piccone, they were genuine world-class riders. So riding with those boys all the time, it lifts you to levels that you probably wouldn't reach if you didn't ride with them.
Where do you think you've improved most as a jockey in your time here?
I think tactically, Hong Kong racing is very tactical, and you have to be really sharp. It's a game of inches with the way the horses are handicapped here, so one little mistake can be detrimental. So everything has to be as close to perfect as possible. So yeah, you need to really nail your strategy and give the horse the best chance you can.
Outside of racing, your personal life has changed as well too. You came here as an eligible bachelor, but these days you're a married man to the lovely Hannah. Just tell us, what's life been like for you in Hong Kong from setting foot here as a 21-year-old to you now as a 27-year-old?
It was pretty lonely when I was here by myself. I was obviously only 21, and I was very lonely, and I did struggle. So when Hannah did move here, it was a game changer for me. I was really comfortable and happy, and started to call Hong Kong home from that point in. And yeah, we're now both very settled, and life's good.
Is Hong Kong home for the long term?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Obviously, I'd like to be doing better than I am. I'd like to be, you know, a lot further up that premiership, but we've got to keep working hard, and hopefully more opportunities can come my way, and I can climb that ladder.
So just on that, because you came into this season on the back of your best ever season last season with 43 wins, has this season been tougher?
Yeah, it has. I've had a few injuries and some suspensions which sort of held me back a bit, but in terms of number of winners, it has been my quietest season to date in Hong Kong, which is disappointing because you always want to improve on the previous season, but there's still a couple of months left, so hopefully we can finish strong and get the tally up.
And overall, when you look at your body of work then to get towards 200 winners, does that give you a feeling of satisfaction? Do you think you've got what it takes here now that you've been here for a while to set foot higher up the jockeys' ranks here?
Yeah, I really do. I definitely believe in my ability, and I think I can if given the right opportunities. But yeah, to ride 200 winners, it's really satisfying because I know how hard it is to ride winners here. So I can remember reaching 100 winners not that long ago. So to nearly hit 200, it's a good feeling.
Let's talk about something that happened fairly recently. Fantastic Treasure, 4 from 4 here on Sunday. How good's he?
Yeah, well, he just keeps raising the bar. He just keeps winning, and winning in style too. We don't really know what the ceiling is yet because he hasn't been tested, truthfully. And what he's done as a 3-year-old, carrying the weight he did on the weekend and winning as easily as he did was ultra impressive. And yeah, the sky's the limit for him.
He's trained by David Hayes, who was your old boss in Australia. What's the relationship like with you and David, and what effect has he had on your career?
Oh, he's been huge for my career. He's probably the reason I got the call up to come to Hong Kong in the first place. I was an apprentice in Sydney when David approached me and asked me to come and pretty much be his stable rider as a 17-year-old. So that's when I moved to Melbourne to ride for him, and I was still an apprentice, so I lived with him and his family in his home, and yeah, he treated me like a son since then, and we get on very well now.
So you've got a horse like Fantastic Treasure that you're on, you've got the partnership with David Hayes, you're injury-free as we speak. Are you feeling optimistic then for the remainder of this season and heading into the next season?
I am. You know, David's stable's really starting to hit the straps now. All the young horses are coming through. and hopefully I can be a part of it. And obviously into next season, even better.
Well, Chad, 200 wins hasn't happened just yet, but it's very close. It's a terrific achievement. Well done, and all the best for what lies ahead here in Hong Kong for you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks to Chad Schofield for taking the time to talk to me earlier this week. Chad, of course, is the son of Glenn Scofield, who rode successfully here in the early 2000s. Chad's no stranger to big race success in Australia, winning the Cox Plate on Seamus Award. He enters the meeting on 198 wins in Hong Kong, Saturday's meeting that is, and he's ridden between 31 and 43 winners in each of the 5 full seasons that Chad has been here for. So we're going to look ahead to the weekend on the other side of the break, but before that we'll also be bringing you up to speed with what's happened in this week of racing in Hong Kong. Don't go anywhere, you're watching Hong Kong Direct.